What's up, bros? My name is Scott Kowalski, and welcome to another fishing video. Have you ever wondered how to find bass in deep water but you don't have a fish finder? Well, I got you covered. So, it's wintertime and pitching banks just isn't gonna cut it. I don't care if you're Kevin Van Dam or Carl Von Dibble, pitching banks just isn't gonna cut it. So what do? You need to fish deep. It's not a secret. To find fish, you need to find structure. But where do you look? The answer is you need to check out a topography map. You got really two options. You can head over to Google Earth and you can check out their topography map. It's not going to show you too much detail. It's going to show you where there's little humps and points and creek beds in the lake, but it's not going to show you a depth counter or really how deep it is. You're just going to kind of have to guess. But option two is you can head down to your local lake office, and they might have topography maps at the office with much more detail. If they have them, they're going to be much more high quality. They're really going to give you a lot more info. They're going to show you where there's underwater bridges and all kinds of good stuff. But let's go back to option one and let's head over to Google Earth and let's check out what they got. All right, guys, so we're on Google Earth, and here you can see my lake. And so fishing points is a pretty common thing, and as you can see, there's a point here, but you're not really sure if that point comes off symmetrical with the point. And nature is not symmetrical, guys, so don't assume that point's just going to come right off that edge. It could come down through here, it could veer out over here. You don't really know, and that's why you should check out a topography map. And on a topography map, they're also going to show you where secondary points are, and secondary points are going to hold a lot of bass right now. It's winter time, and the 80% of the fish are going to be 20 to 30 feet deep, and there's going to be some that are going to be on the banks, some that are going to be like 10 feet deep, but the majority are going to be 20 to 30 feet deep on those secondary points. On the main points, it might only be 10 feet deep, and that ain't going to do you no good if 80% of them are 30 feet deep. So knowing where those secondary points are will really help you. And so here we got the map. If you go over to Google and type in Google Earth Topo map, you're going to want to head over to this website. It's called earthpoint.us. You're going to want to go ahead and download the Topo map. And once you have that downloaded, head back over to Google Earth, and you're going to want to go to My Places, and you're going to want to enable the KML file and go ahead and import in that topo map. And once you got it in, there it is, guys. It's going to show you where all those points go. And just like I was talking about, you see how this point comes out to the side, and then you got this secondary point over here. And you got this little island out here. You wouldn't have known that was there unless you looked up the map. But also, you guys see this black line running up through here into this channel? That is called a creek bed. It's like a bass highway. That's where all the bass travel through. And you see how that creek channel is right next to that secondary point? There's going to be a lot of fish held up right there. And once we move farther into the Prespawn and it starts warming up, the water temp gets over about 45 degrees, 50 degrees, those big bass are going to come up that creek channel into this little channel over here, and they're going to move on up this bank, and that's where you need to be to start picking them off. Some other points you can see on the topo map is you guys see these dashed lines right here with this little square at the bottom. That is called a road bed. There used to be a road down there, and it's going to be a hard bottom with ledges off either side, and it's going to hold fish down there too. All these stuff, guys, you need to know. You see this little blue part right here? That's a flat. The fish are going to move into those flats during the spawn and make their beds. So knowing where all this stuff is on your lake, guys, is huge. It's going to give you the upper hand whether you're a tournament fisher or you're just trying to go out there and have some fun. You need to know where these things are. Alright guys, so here's the same map. Here's the same points we were looking at right here. Alright guys, so you see that secondary point. You see that creek channel coming on up into that channel that we were looking at on Google Chrome. But you see how on this map we got all these lines right here. So that tells you depth. The more lines you see means the steeper the bank. You see how this side there's only like 2 lines on the edge? That means it's a very shallow runoff. But this side of the creek channel, it has that deep drop off, and you see that point swinging out and then this deep drop off with that creek channel coming on up in here. Big bass need access to deep water quickly to get away, and they got big because they're smart and they evaded their predators. So big bass need access to deep water quickly. So if you come into this cove and I came over here and fished this side, I might catch some smaller fish. But if I came to this cove and I fished this bank, I have a much higher chance of catching a bigger fish, because those big fish are going to come up that bank, and that's just where they're going to be. And you see on this cove, you see that little thing right there? That's an underwater bridge, guys. I would not have known that bridge was there underwater unless I had this map, because Google Earth isn't going to show you that. And having one of these maps, they're gonna label this stuff for you guys. And having this map is huge compared to what Google Chrome can show you. And yeah, like you see right here, you see all those lines. That's a real steep drop off. Basically, the closer the lines are together, the steeper it is. This is a steep drop off. It gets really deep in here, but it's more gradual than, say, that is. But yeah, then we come up here. You can see that road bed once again. You see all those dotted lines coming on in, and that little square, that's the road bed. But you guys see how much more detail we got on this map versus what we had in the Google Earth. So if you guys can get your hands on one of these, you definitely need to do it, guys. This gives you so much more power than just going out there and winging it. And but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. If you want more details on like how to read a map, head on over to Fluke Master channel. I'll leave a link down in the description. He's gonna go over pretty much the everything you need to know about each section, whether it's a bluff wall, creek channels, secondary points. He's gonna go over everything. Saddles, that's where you got 2 lumps on either side and then it dips down. That's called a saddle. Fish are gonna come through there. And but yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Yeah.